that we must become market-orientated in our approach to selling literature and all sorts of our tabligh activity outside and become target-orientated, which they have become, but which is not really evidence within our group as yet.
I've got the question, please.
Let
me answer. The fact is that what you are seeing is not a religious phenomenon, it's a political phenomenon. And when I toured America this time, even went to Canada, I had some discussions with some dignitaries as well as the press people and ordinary people, and I expressed the same view to them, with them, before the election, of course, that I think there is a very marked swing to the right, and more interest is being taken in building new churches and frequenting churches and taking a rigid attitude in Christianity and Christian dogma. Now, this is what was naturally expected by us to have happened. Because as long as Russia made the second opposite pole for the Christian might in the so-called free world, they were involved in such serious struggle of survival that they could not give vent to their hatred of Islam and their fear of Islam's conquest, religious conquest of the West. So they had to live, despite their hidden hatred and animosity to Islam, as friends walk hand in hand and not to talk of differences. But deep inside, the hatred of Islam has always been alive. Like racialism. It was always alive. You see, a few years ago, a professor of current history came to meet me. He's a Jewish gentleman. And he was talking before the collapse of the Berlin Wall I'm talking about. And he was so vehemently opposing my view that racialism does exist still, and you have not been able to do away with it. It will raise its head, its ugly head, far more rebelliously in the coming future. And he was, first of all, he was flabbergasted. I was, who didn't know what the subject of current history was opposing his well-considered view as a great scholar, that they had been able to do away with racialism once and for all, and now the days of racialism are over. That he is confronting, is opposing this view. But I kept on, and the result was that ultimately, although he couldn't give in there in my presence, he wrote me a letter which all but said that, yes, you are right. He was amazed. I wish I could meet him again, then I will show him now what is happening. I'm talking of the days before the collapse of the communist system. Now, all the factors which were deterrent to ugly nakedness of racialism are gone overboard. Now it's raising, racialism is raising its head everywhere in every country. Racist attitudes are more to be experienced nowadays than ever before. So also is the story of hatred of Islam. They always hated Islam. They were allergic to the Islamic values. They always considered it as a potential hanging threat over the future of Western civilization. As such, they were never happy to strike a sort of compromise with the world of Islam. That is one factor which was suppressed because of the polarization between Russia and the West. It's no more there. That factor is now free. Now this has given birth to a very sharp swing to extreme right. a right which is based not as much on the love of Christianity as on the hatred of Islam. And that is discernible everywhere. And this is also entering politics now. It had infiltrated politics even previously. When they sat together separately in their own rooms, discussing things and relationship, this factor was always the dominant factor in deciding policies. Whether this policy would help Islam spread and become a greater power, or this policy would depress them and this and that, and how to bring about bad name to Islamic image in the view of the Western people and so on. Whether it was said in so many words or not, I know for certain this has always been a domineering factor in their formation of policies. Now, in relation to Bosnia, this has become naked. What enmity have they got against their own European brothers in the name of Bosnians? Excellent people. They have never raised a challenge to their social values either, because their name of Islam was just a name without having penetrated their character and way of life. You could not, now they are learning, of course, but previously you could not distinguish between a Christian Bosnian and a Muslim Bosnian. Many a time they came in groups to meet me, and somebody came to me and breathed into my ear, "Please be cautious in your observations, there are a few Christian Bosnians among them." I said, "I have nothing to hide. I'll say it openly, even if I know that they are installed spies and agents. I would say exactly the same thing as I would in any other situation. But what I'm telling you is this: they were hidden, they were irrecognizable because the way of life was exactly the same. So what was hurting them? Why started calling them Muslims at all? Why not calling them Bosnians versus the Serbs? Right from the beginning, they did it intentionally. The whole media played into the hand of this politics, and this was surreptitiously helped by the church. And even today in America, the church is actively participating behind the scenes in all such policies where the issue of relationship with the Muslim world comes up for discussion. And even those who do not believe in anything, they still hate Islam, because in the final analysis, it is not the Christianity for which they are fighting or for which they are making a struggle. It is a mixed affair of a civilization which is adhered to by a large number of people who are considered to be Muslims. The adherents of this civilization are considered to be Christians, I mean not Muslims, Christians, but without Christian values. The church has freely compromised all the Christian values with the irreligious values of the Western civilization. Their permissiveness, their freedom, all the ugliness which you find in the society is not Christian ugliness. Christianity is beautiful. Even when distorted, it is a most attractive system of values. So what you find is not Christian society. It is a mixed irreligious society where Christianity has lost all its battle to the materialism of so many different forms. Now, the only sentiment left for Christianity is in the hearts of a few church leaders whose ultimate dedication to Christianity means